Now we're going to be moving on to something actually important. We're going to be moving on to a story mission. Of course, after I take a look to see if I can switch my graffiti to a new set. Or pseudo set, because I consider the graffiti in sets of 3 because of the way characters organize them. Basically no other reason, because technically the other ones aren't really related. This time we're going to be doing Kogane-cho's final mission, Fight or Flight. Of course we're going to be playing as Gum. I refuse to play as basically any other character when score's on the line, even though there are technically better characters. So if you hadn't done Jet Graffiti for Kogane-cho yet, you actually would have the opportunity to get the graffiti souls on the hill here.
Members of the Golden Rhino, you must find that record. You know what will happen if you fail.
This level features some of the most annoying enemies in the game. We've got these snipers here who are bad, but are not actually the worst. They have a laser sight that aims on you, and after a few seconds, if you're not boosting, they'll well, even if you are boosting, they'll shoot at you, but if you're boosting, you dodge the bullets automatically. If they hit you, they take a chunk out of your health. That's about all the snipers do, but on top of that, you've got the normal Golden Rhino goons with their knives, which are the same as the baton police officers we saw at the beginning of the game. They're quite annoying because even if they touch you, they'll stop your graffiti combo, I guess, which lowers your total amount of points, which can make things more difficult for the mission. On top of that, there are enemies we'll see later. You got a little teaser of them in the intro, like, cutscene to this level, but I'll talk more about them when they show up. This level has a ton of both green optional and red mandatory graffiti. Most of the green graffiti, although not all, in Kogane-cho tends to be small size. I am kind of immediately disproving myself here, but if you were playing a character that didn't have as high a graffiti stat and still wanted to do the optional graffiti, but maybe not all of it, focus on the small size for this level instead of the large ones, and then just do tricks to get more of your points. But if you're playing a high graffiti stat character like me, just go for everything and try and get as much as you can. This level is notoriously difficult because of the enemies that are going to come up later, so it might take you more than one try if you're going for a jet rank on this level like I am. I don't know if this song came up before, but this is another one of my favorites on the soundtrack, Sweet Soul Brother by Hideki Naganuma. Naganuma made some of... I mean, the soundtrack is really varied, and every artist that's on it has contributed at least something good, even if it's not necessarily your cup of tea for music, like one specific artist. But this song in particular, I find the more I play this game, or the more I just play video games in general, the more the kind of laid-back tracks appeal to me. I know none of the tracks in this game are particularly, like, smooth jazz, but Sweet Soul Brother tends to be one that's just not as, I guess, aggressive in terms of its guitar playing and singing. Like, Rocket On is another one of my favorite songs, but that one's just a lot of cuts of, like, yelling. I love the song, but just having calmer songs is nice sometimes too. Unfortunately, Sweet Soul Brother is now over, and I can no longer rejoice. Nah, this song is good too. So, it should be noted, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the green graffiti does not contribute to the next enemies coming up. Once a radio warning comes up about either you being in an area or a new enemy coming, the next red graffiti that you complete will always trigger that new enemy showing up. In this level in particular, that's a really bad thing, so going for as much green graffiti first, especially large size stuff, before that warning appears, is ideal. Now, I don't actually heed that advice in this playthrough because I'm very smart, but you'll see the consequences of it, I think. I preemptively jumped off the side thinking I could make it, but there's more graffiti to do on the lower section of the hill. This level, like Jet Graffiti, will take you through the entirety of Kogane-cho. I don't have enough cans for these, do I? No, I do not. Also, something interesting I noticed that is fairly commonly talked about with this game, or at least in like trivia and stuff. Yes, trivia. Is the fact that this particular song, Super Brothers, is not so ambiguously about Super Mario Bros. Which I think is interesting, because this is a Sega game during a time in which they were still competing with Nintendo, because Sega was still making consoles at the time that Jet Set Radio was created. It was near the end of Sega's console-making lifespan, but it's still kind of cool to see. Like, you wouldn't expect even a mention of Mario unless it was in a sort of like we're better than Mario sort of way to be put into a Sega game. I don't know if that was an intentional choice on anyone's part or if it just slipped past Sega's marketing division. Oh, here they are. So this level has people who fly in jetpacks and shoot you with machine guns. I'll let you take a guess as to why they're annoying. You basically can't afford to stop for larger graffiti now without taking damage. Extra large graffiti is a nightmare with these things. You can spray the leader, but I've never managed to do that, so I can't tell you what it does, if it actually stops them for a decent period of time. It's unfortunate, but that's why you want to try and get as many green sprays as you can before you actually end up hitting enough of the red sprays to spawn them. It's quite frustrating and makes it one of the more difficult levels in the game, which I guess is fair because we're near the end game, but it's still annoying nonetheless. On the subject of Sega, I notice a general trend with a lot of their games, at least in my own opinion, compared to other companies or other gaming companies on the home console market, is that Sega continually has more of an arcadey feel to a lot of their games, where it's meant to be highly replayable, usually difficult in places, and just like easy to learn, difficult to master. I have a lot of respect for this approach because, I mean, first of all, Sega started as an arcade game company and still actually functions as mostly an arcade game company, although with arcades not being as popular as they used to be, it's still limited. But they still do make arcade machines and stuff. So seeing that in even their home console games is cool because it takes the best part of the arcades, replayable gameplay, intricate systems, and just a fun core gameplay loop. And one that doesn't have to occupy too much of your time either. Like, I enjoy time-consuming games like long RPGs and stuff, but I also have a lot of respect for games that are more condensed and to the point and still are fun regardless of game length, because I don't necessarily believe that a long game always means a good game. But that arcadey approach applies a lot to Jet Set Radio as well in its mechanics, which plays into the time limit, your limited resources, the more abstract nature of the mechanics, where you're just kind of fulfilling objectives in a very, like, just because the game says so kind of way, which feels very similar to that of arcades, and I really appreciate that. You don't see it too often in a lot of games, but Sega tends to do it a lot. With Jet Set Radio, with Sonic the Hedgehog, Nights into Dreams, Outrun, although Outrun did start as an arcade series, so I don't really think it's fair to do that. Same with Super Monkey Ball, that also technically has an arcade version of the original game, but a lot of Sega's popular IPs are very arcadey in nature. Ooh, that was a terrible curve into the water. The only one I can think of that's not really is like the Yakuza series, but it's got its own degree of variety and replayability in its minigames and atmosphere, and I don't know. I'm having a great time spraying these extra large graffiti because of shooty boys. There is actually a way to avoid their shots. if you see a flashing exclamation mark when you're spraying or just on your character, you can exit out of the graffiti by pressing the spray button again, and then just start dashing when you see that. You won't take damage, but unfortunately you will still get hit. The reason this is beneficial is because getting hit reduces your health and reduces time and is annoying, and health and time actually do contribute to your final score. I've not really gotten a ton into scoring, aside from where my sources for the score guides for Jet Rank come from, but you can get extra score at the end of the level for how much time you have left, for how many cans you have on you when you finish the level, and how much of your maximum health you have left when you finish the level. It's helpful for getting a boost to your score in case you haven't quite hit the score requirements, and for the early levels, it makes it fairly easy to hit those jet requirements just by playing the game without really trying to actually aim for the jet rank. I am super low on health at this point. It is extremely risky what I'm doing. You can also avoid bullets when you're on a rail and when you're wall riding, because it's functionally considering you in a dash state still. Oh, thank God there's a health can. That was a good jump. I'm very proud of that jump. Again, with these large missions, if you're unsure of whether you've gotten all the graffiti, make sure to check the map frequently, which you can do in the pause menu. It will tell you all the mandatory graffiti that is left in a particular area, just so you don't have to continually loop around the level, because for the ones that take place in the entirety of a district, you don't have enough time to go through the level multiple times. Especially if you're going after like every piece of graffiti like I am, or if you just happen to take your time with things. Oh, gum fall down. I think we're done with the sewers now, so it's safe to move on to the construction site, which will be the last area that we cover, because I didn't actually mess up and miss some graffiti like last time, or in the jet graffiti for Kogane Joe. I don't have a ton of time left in this mission. I do have a few minutes, like a little over 3 minutes, but still not easy. I don't know what would have been better in terms of design choice for this game, because they choose to list your remaining time in seconds rather than minutes and seconds. It's a little cleaner that way, I guess, in terms of UI design, but I don't know if it's as readable for how long you really have. It does manage to instill anxiety in the player, I guess, so maybe it's intentional. So you might have noticed that in the jet graffiti for Kogane Show, there were some floating pieces of graffiti that didn't really make sense. They're supposed to be those golden rhino statues there, but I guess for some reason they don't spawn in for jet graffiti, so there's like two sprayable areas that kind of hover there. Now, I'm actually gonna, I think, probably try and ignore the giant green graffiti here, because I've still got the annoying gunmen on me. I would like to get the points from them, it's just unrealistic to actually have them be worth it, given the fact that I don't have much time many cans, and they're chasing me actively. Also, Gum's a character that doesn't have a lot of health, so it might not be worth it. I think I also have just about enough points to be able to jet rank, so I think I'm in the clear. Plus whatever bonus score I get, like I mentioned, will help. There we go. That's the last Kogane mission done, not counting the optional stuff.
Jet Set Radio! And now, this report from our informant in Benton Cho, the Pink no Shijin. The thing everyone's been hunting for like crazy is something called the Devil's Contract. It's a record that's got the power to summon a demon. The streets of Tokyo-to are in a panic, and we're gonna have to cut off this broadcast soon. Can the GG's Graffiti save this city?
So we've got one more thing to do in this episode. I would have typically put it into another one, but it just doesn't fit. So we're gonna have a non-mission ending this episode. The next thing we're gonna do is actually the preamble to the next mission. We have another character unlocked from beating Fight or Flight, the last Kogane mission. This is the last normal character, non-secret character that you unlock in the entire game. This is Slate. Slate is, of course, unlocked by beating Fight or Flight, the Golden Rhinos mission in Kogane, and the final mission in Kogane Show. In terms of graffiti, Slate has his own set like everyone else, starting with size small. You gotta cheat to solve puzzles by Slate at number 10. For size large, Slate has Blue Slate by Slate at number 44. And lastly, at size extra large, Slate has Wild Style Wars by WSW at number 78.
What? I don't understand what's going on here.
For spray patterns, Slate follows tab type. Stage 1, bottom to top. Stage 2, top to bottom. Stage 3, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 4, 12 to 12 clockwise. Stage 5, 12 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 6, 12 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 counterclockwise. Stage 7, 6 to 6 clockwise twice. I would say this is the last time we're showing off a character's graffiti pattern in footage, but it's not actually, because we have the secret characters to go over, which if you saw last episode, we saw the first one, and if you also saw that, we're probably able to predict what the next one's going to be. Like with Piranha, Slate is going to get dwarfed by the next character. However, Slate's, in the way of stats, has a remarkable 40 maximum cans of graffiti, a very high health stat, and decent graffiti and technique stats. Nothing too special, but the fact that they can carry so many cans and take so much damage makes them a well-rounded character. In terms of tricks, Slate has Karate and Rocket for forward air, Abstract 360, and Karate for backward air. For forward grinds, we have Full Torque and Backside Full Torque, Rock Mac and Farside Rock Mac, Unity, and Backside Unity. For reverse grinds, we have Alley-Oop Machio, Farside Alley-Oop Machio, Pornstar, and Farside Pornstar. For forward verts, we have Flying Kite 540 and Karate 180. For reverse verts, we have Flying Kite 540 and Karate 180. So like I said, Slate gets immediately dwarfed by our next secret character, Poison Jam. I'm gonna let you guess how this gets unlocked before I say it anyway. The last mission we beat because we got a jet rank on it, and every other story mission in Kogane Cho, we're able to unlock Poison Jam as a playable character. Just like with Love Shockers, jet ranking all the story missions in that area unlocks them. In terms of graffiti, Poison Jam has the small graffiti Land of Monsters by Poison Jam at number 31. For size large graffiti, we have a fairly familiar one, Rip You to Shreds by Poison Jam at number 65 for large. And lastly, for extra large, Poison Jam has available to them Jam to the Venom at number 99. For spray patterns, we follow beat type as Poison Jam. Stage 1 is top to bottom. Stage 2 is 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 3, 12 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 4, 12 to 12 clockwise, 12 to 6 counterclockwise. Stage 5, 6 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 6, 12 to 12 clockwise twice. Stage 7, 12 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. And we'll be looking at Poison Jam spraying their own extra large graffiti in Bantam Street. I would say for the last time, but no, it's not. I don't know if this commentary is worth putting in here anymore, because if you've seen the other ones, you know what to expect. I'm just filling the air. In terms of stats, with Poison Jam being a special character, they have a maximum of 20 cans. That's not very special. Their high health stat, however, is special, and it's one of two things about them that's special. In terms of tricks, Poison Jam has forward airs 720 and backflip, reverse airs, abstract 360 and judo backflip, forward grinds, frontside and backside frontside, Makio and farside Makio, X and farside X for reverse grinds, alley-oop Makio, farside alley-oop Makio, alley-oop soul, and farside alley-oop soul for forward verts, judo 180, and misty flip for reverse verts, 540, and Stalefish 180. I'm going to be playing as Poison Jam for this because this unlockable for Slate, the way you unlock him, even though you can refuse him like every other story unlockable character, except for Gum, Tab, Combo, and Cube, you are doing a Jet Crush in order to beat him, which gives us an introduction to Kogane Cho's Jet Crush, in case we have not done that one yet. Poison Jam is a unique character in that there are actually two variants on him once you unlock him. If you hold X on either a controller or keyboard when selecting him, you'll get Unmasked Poison Jam, which is a character that we'll be selecting in a later story mission. In fact, the second last story mission. It's interesting to see that they tucked a secret character behind a secret character, but functionally Unmasked Poison Jam is identical to Poison Jam, which is why I'm talking about it here rather than talking about it as its own separate character, because it would be redundant to go over the exact same information twice. Despite that, I think, as you know, I've gone over the same information through several episodes in this series because it just remains relevant to what we're doing in the game. So I'm inconsistent, but hey, at least you're getting some information, I guess. Give me a break. Slate's Jet Tech Challenge is not super difficult. You can mess it up like the rest of the Jet Tech challenges, but so long as you're ahead of Slate, once you get to about this point, you'll be fine. It really only becomes difficult if you have to manage picking up spray cans and getting down the hill quickly, because the spray point is at the end of the hill.
Give me a break.
And just like that, Slate joins us.